All right, guys. Welcome back to another amazing episode of Wicked Kitchen. I'm enjoying a little bit of coffee as I normally do during the late morning hours. And what we're gonna show today is a really quick one-pot Mediterranean stew, entirely vegan and amazing. And I'm gonna showcase also the king oyster mushrooms again. So you can pick these up in Tesco, we're selling them there now. And then also farmers markets sell them, different retailers. If they don't sell them, ask them. It helps because we're trying to get more and more retailers to sell these exotic mushrooms that are an amazing replacement for meat. All right, so I'm just turning on this one pot turn it on high, let it heat up. And I'm just gonna start jumping right into it. So first thing I wanna add is the onion. Now, this is a recipe that I can't be bothered with too much of the details. I want larger chunks. It's gonna be for a few meals during the week. I'm just gonna add like 1 teaspoon of oil, just a little bit, just to coat the bottom of this pan. All right, so we're gonna let that heat up, and while that's heating up, I'm just gonna chop some of the mirepoix. Mirepoix, again, is onions, celery, carrot, the basics. And these are gonna be larger chunks. So I washed the carrots ahead of time. I'm just gonna be trimming the outside butt ends of the carrots, and that's just gonna be discarded. Cut them in half again. So I'm not gonna fuss too much with them. Pretty good size. They're about an inch. It's gonna be very rustic. All right, so this is probably hot enough. I'm gonna add onions right to it now. And the onions, carrots, and celery right to the bottom here. Okay, this should take less than 30 minutes. Wooden spoon. Give it a quick stir. Some garlic, I'm gonna use 6 cloves. And I'm just gonna do a rough chop, nothing major, no dicing or anything. I want pretty much large chunks of garlic in here. They will cook down, so they'll be easy to eat. Just go right into the pot. Adds that extra little zing of flavor, deliciousness. While this is doing, I'm gonna just show you the technique of the mushrooms. So these mushrooms we're gonna score and use as steaks. Now you can use any other mushroom you like. If you can't find these, you can use chestnut mushrooms and you can just add them right to the pot. But this is just gonna elevate it that next level with the king oysters, or Eryngii they call them. So what we do is you just cut them in half, all right? And then we're gonna score them. So let me cut them in half first, set them aside. All right? So when I say score them, it's just gonna be crisscrossing, very thin incisions. Okay, just like that on both sides. Turn it. And it's just a simple aesthetic technique, and it will also lend itself to penetrating the mushroom with a little bit more flavor, but it'll look nice and beautiful when we put on, and of course it's gonna be delicious because it'll be nice crispy around the edges. So again, you know, you don't have to go this extra measure. If you're just in a wicked rush, then just throw everything in the pot. I'm not a stickler with that. Sometimes I can't be bothered and I just want to eat and get done with. But anytime you can take that extra step to be kind to yourself and cook a little bit better, make it that, kick it up a notch, bring it to that next level, it's always a good thing. We did a similar thing in this other recipe right here with the mushroom scallop technique that we show with the Eryngii. You can look at this link. Okay, those are done and ready to go for when we're gonna need them. I like to set everything up very nice and neatly so I feel good about it. All right, so that's searing onto the bottom really nice. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the broccoli and cauliflower. I'm gonna take the courgette right here. I'm just gonna trim the top off. These ones were quite small today at the store, so I'm gonna use the rounds. Again, pretty large size pieces, so I'm going for more of a classic feel. And now I'm gonna start flavoring it. All right, bay leaf, you guys. I crack it just a little bit. It smells good. It's gonna bring all those flavors, round them out well together. So right into the pot with that. I have 1 lemon. Some people use their hands to do this. I don't want a chance getting any seeds in it, so I'm just gonna squeeze with this. Check, make sure there's no seeds, right, that I can see. Then I'm adding the peel right to it. Squeeze it again. Check for any seeds, stragglers. I'm adding that right to it because I want that flavor, that peel, that zest in there throughout the whole dish. Now you can use straight up tomato juice, tomato, whatever you want. I'm gonna use V8 today, and these guys aren't sponsoring me. I am used to this because this is how I made it growing up. I'm gonna add pretty much this whole container because this I'm gonna feed off of for the week. And if friends come over, I have something to offer them. Super easy, you guys. Just veggies and tomato juice, lemon, and a cinnamon stick is pretty much the basic, all you gotta remember. And then whatever flavorings you wanna add to that. So we're just gonna cook this down now, all right? I'm gonna add my Brussels sprouts. These are just, everything I have here I just had laying around in the fridge, so I'm gonna add the red beans, kidney beans. And towards the end, so I have frozen peas. I didn't have fresh peas, so I have no worries using frozen peas or corn or carrots and just adding them to this dish. I will add these as soon as it comes to a boil, so I'm gonna set this aside. What I will add now is a cinnamon stick, so it's key. The lemon and the cinnamon are really gonna add these unique different flavors with the tomato, however you wanna say it. All right, so to season it, I'm gonna add a good ½ teaspoon of smoked paprika. I'm gonna add a good teaspoon of black pepper, and I'm also gonna add a teaspoon of salt. You know, I'm also gonna be adding this to the mushroom, so I'm gonna add a little bit right to the pot, and this is that pork seasoning. So you guys, the pork seasoning, remember in the other videos that I've talked about, I use all these seasoning blends. It makes it really simple, and all the retailers sell all these different kinds of blends with the labels of pork or chicken or steak, which has no animal products. I'm working on trying to change that, but this is just a blend of sage, onion, garlic, some dried peppers. I'm gonna add a little bit of this. I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of this, right to it. So I'm gonna give this a stir, and then I'm gonna move it to the side burner over here, bring it to a boil, and start with the mushrooms. And I'm gonna cover this quick. So now for the mushrooms, my trusty cast iron. So that's gonna heat up. I'm gonna get a little bit of oil. Just gonna put it in this right here, this little bowl. I'm just gonna rub it on these, just to make sure each one gets coated with it a little bit so that it soaks up the oil pretty quick. So just want to put this in my hand like this and then season each one so I know that they're evenly coated and they're all gonna have the same flavor profile. So this is heating up nicely. I'm just gonna add a little bit of oil, like a ½ teaspoon. Let's see if I can do this, ½ teaspoon, just to coat the bottom of this pan. It's not a lot. It's key to have the pan wicked hot because I want that nice sear. Just like when I used to cook animal products, steaks, chickens, whatever I used to cook. I like the same technique. It's the same stuff I learned when I was younger. I'm just improving upon it, building on it, making it healthier by using vegetables and cooking the same way. There's no secret to it. This is boiling really well, so I'm gonna lower that. I can hear it. Now this should be hot. Just gonna test it. Let me wet my hand for a minute. Great way to test how hot the pan is just perfect. All right, so that's perfect. So let's add, oops, careful. I add these right to it. So I want this nice color, golden color. So I'm gonna take the other pan, continue on with the pressing technique that I've been showing in a lot of the other videos if you've seen the mushroom techniques, and I'm just gonna press it. That will allow even searing on all the bottom side there for the mushroom. And it's just aesthetically pleasing, obviously tastes great because each bite you know has that crispy, crunchy feeling. I want you to see how easy it is to cook plant-based and to eat healthier and to really just do our part to help save the environment so we're not ruining it. You know, it's up to us individuals to do this. So, all right, so mushrooms. Remember what I said about the pan in one of those the other video is always have an extra towel that you can just wipe off. And then this, look at that nice sear. Then that's beautiful. It's gorgeous right there. That right there is freaking beautiful. I love it. And that is what is going to give that extra flavor and that crunch. I mean, oh, that's so damn good. So this I'm going to pop right into the oven just like this with the pan and all. All right, so I might have forgotten. I did like I started the oven, lit the oven, whatever you want to do. It's on 200 degrees Celsius. That's roughly 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And we'll have all the measurements listed. So I'm gonna move the stew back to the other burner so we can watch it boil. It already smells delicious. I'm gonna have a taste of the sauce, see if it needs any more seasoning. Damn, like that tastes delicious. When you're super proud of it and you get to feed that to other people, it is such a precious gift to be able to cook for people. I love it. It's just being in service of others and being a benefit is just, I don't know. I really do love that part of it. So what I'm gonna do now that tastes really good, I don't wanna cook the crap out of these veggies. I want them to be somewhat crunchy, and I want to take into account that I'm gonna be reheating this during the week. So whether I microwave it or throw it back on the stove, that's gonna add this other cook level. So I'm not gonna overcook this. I want them super crunchy. Well, not super crunchy, you know, just enough. You can cook it however you like, but this is how I like it. I'm gonna add mint right now. So I have some fresh mint, 2 stalks. All right, it's not too much. Just gonna take off a couple of leaves. It would be roughly, if I was gonna guess and measure it, which I'll write down, it's probably gonna be like 1 tablespoon of ripped fresh mint leaves. All right, so we're just gonna rip these. This is gonna add this flavor of super freshness, and it goes really well with the lemon and the cinnamon and the tomato, whatever you wanna call it. 2 last things. I'm gonna add the frozen peas. All right, so this, when I add the frozen peas, is like the last 5 minutes I'm gonna be cooking this because those peas will cook like that. Don't overcook the peas. I don't like brown peas. It's just not edible. They don't look good. Add the peas at the last minute whenever you're cooking anything. That's my good tip for the day. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of the spinach here. So this is about 100 grams of spinach. They sell baby spinach packs. This was the smaller pack that I bought in the store. Along with the florets, broccoli. Like sometimes I can't be bothered, so I go and I buy the stuff that's already chopped. Even though I know how to do it, I'm not ashamed to say that I will buy this other stuff just to be quick. So it has been a total of like, what, 5 minutes, maybe. And those mushrooms are gonna be done in a minute here. I'm just gonna stir this in. What I wanna do is now I'm gonna look for those lemon peels so I can take them out. Squeeze the juice out of them. And I know there's, where it is. Easy to find. All right, so the cinnamon stick is in there. And I'm gonna let that cinnamon stick sit in there. So I'm gonna turn this off though, because it's done. All right, is that, I mean, if I look at the clock, I think it's been 15, 20 minutes total, and look at how gorgeous that is. That is just freaking gorgeous. I'm an idiot. I can't even hold a towel sometimes. All right. All right, careful, that's hot. Ugh. And we got the mushrooms, they are gorgeous. Look at those. It's so nice to know like the next couple days are taken care of. With all these delicious meals, I can just pop in the microwave or back on the stove top. Whatever I want to do. Super colorful, looks great. Now for the finishing touch, you guys, is the mushroom. We're gonna just load that right there. Place it right there on each one. Delicious vegan Mediterranean stew. Check out the Wicked Healthy Cookbook as well, and we will see you next episode. Thanks very much, guys. Now I'm gonna just snap a shot for the gram. Awesome. How's that, guys? How's that?